Hey guys, it's Merce. Welcome back to Harpies in the Trees. So I don't have a book to review today because I'm still reading The Red Tree. I also don't have a TBR to talk about because I only read like maybe 2 books a month at the most. So anything that I will be reading I've already talked about previously, but I do have a small little book haul coming up soon, so I'll do a video on that. But I wanted to do something kind of fun and interesting, I think, which is to do a video about my 4 top favorite ghosts caught on video. What I like about these videos is, 1, they're entertaining. I love them. Real or not, they are entertaining. I find so much, I don't know, just enjoyment out of watching these types of videos because I like to be scared, and I also like to just think about all of these different circumstances. And the more real it looks, the creepier it is and the more fun it is. So with these 4 videos are like the top of the top in I think like just the way they're presented, the way they look, that they are very convincing in a lot of different ways, and they're very creepy. And I just was like, when I was watching these videos, I was like, whoa, you know, just like, wow, like that's really convincing. And so I'm gonna show you these videos today. I'm gonna show you a small part of them. The links are all in the bottom in the description, so I do urge you to watch them first and then maybe come back and then, you know, we can kind of talk about it, or watch them afterwards and just see what you think about everything that I've said. And just watch these videos. I'm going to talk about why I think it's really compelling, why I think they're very entertaining, and also why I think they're fake. And what I think is happening, or how I think that they put this together. And so just to be clear, I am not trying to be like, if you believe in ghosts, then you're dumb. Not at all. I'm not saying that. I am a skeptic, but I'm someone who really does want to believe in ghosts. I myself have only had like 1 experience that I would say was definitely supernatural. And one of the things about that situation was that somebody else was there with me who also experienced it too. So I'll share that with you at the end of the video. But I'm definitely a skeptic, but I want to believe. I do. Believe so much. This is just my opinion coming from a very skeptical lens of just like looking at it specifically as in, how could this be done? How did they do it? And what makes it suspect? So the first video I'm going to talk about is by YouTuber Veronica Shannon. So Veronica Shannon has decided to install cameras in her home because she's having some very strange activity. She hears really strange noises, and her kids are acting weird. They're waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning and just screaming their faces off. So we have a situation of weird noises and a ritual. So at this ritual, waking up at a very specific time, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. And already that's kind of creepy, right? She has footage of some light anomalies and some shadow anomalies and some other stuff like that. But she does have some footage here that is very, very creepy. And it's really creepy because I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. Just the way that it's presented and what's happening, it's pretty unique. So let's take a look. So we see that there's some type of white figure in the dark in this room, and it seems to be leaning over and opening a door. That's what it seems to be doing. A human walks in and seems to be kind of like looking. He's not coming in too quickly, but he is just coming in through the door. And then we see that he seems to be looking at the figure itself and then walking out. And we see that there's this white figure that almost looks like an old man, kind of shuffling. My initial reaction with this was like, oh wow, that's weird. And that's really spooky. And the way that it's moving and the way that it's just kind of existing in this space is very weird. After my initial like, oh, this is very cool looking, what it really looked like to me was just a lot of pixel compression. It does look like it's an actual person who's there, but that these pixels are being purposely compressed or data moshed or something to kind of give this strange striation and movement and stretching and pixelation and everything. And I think that that would be fairly easy to do. Also the guy's reaction when he's leaving the apartment as he's looking at the object is sort of weird. Not sure. I mean, she didn't go on to explain what he was doing or why he was acting that way, if he had seen anything, or you know what the situation was. So I can't really say for that. Besides this being most likely to me some type of pixel compression of a footage of a person who is actually in the room, it does look really cool. It does look really cool. You should definitely check out the whole thing. So the second video we're gonna watch is by Franco TV. And this is a really interesting one. He is locked in a graveyard by mistake at night. He has been doing some ghost hunting, and he has just, you know, it looks like a very large cemetery, so he just accidentally got locked in. So he's kind of trying to find his way out. And as he's trying to find his way out, he sees that there is, he sees like a group of mausoleums, and he wants to kind of go over there and check those out. But as he's walking towards them, we hear the music of a music box playing, which was very unusual. It sounds like it's definitely coming from a music box. When the end of the song or the end of the time that it's playing, I think I could sort of hear it winding down, but that could have been played from a Bluetooth speaker. That wasn't the interesting part, but you know, it added kind of like to this spookiness of being left there in a cemetery. So after the music box, he keeps walking, and he's decided that, you know, he wants to kind of check out some other stuff, and he has a light on his camera which he's kind of shining as he's looking at stuff, and out of the doorway is this really like just really creepy, spooky face that looks like it has a shroud around the face, and it's kind of peeking out from the side, and it slowly kind of wipes away. So this was really cool and really compelling, and I liked it a lot. Let's watch this footage. Now he's coming up onto the mausoleum building, and you can see, if we stop it here, you can see like this little figure peeking out. And as he gets closer, it seems to be kind of peeking out a little more, and then he stops, he's staring at it, he's wondering what it is, and then it slowly comes back or goes back into the room. His light begins to flash a little bit. He said that was battery malfunction, but he's keeping the light on the room. And then he pulls away. He pulls away twice. And then he's coming closer to inspect. He pulls away again for a longer period of time. And then we see that there's nothing in the room. So, you know, I wish that he really would have just kept his camera on the object. And I wish he would have just walked right up to the object. I feel like that he is really underreacting in this video, so that makes me feel like it could be fake, because I feel like I don't scare easily, but like if I saw that, I think that I would be very, I wouldn't be screaming and like crying or anything, but I think that I would be viscerally, just like very overtaken by fear, because like, what is that? But I do wish that he had just kept the light straight on the room and just walked to the room. But because he was pulling away 3 times from the room, I feel like that gave opportunity for, if there was someone there who was kind of pulling the gag, to get out of there. So because of that, you know, I feel like it just leaves a lot of questions for me. Even though I think it was really awesome. Like, it was so creepy and so awesome. And a lot of his videos have a lot of these eerie qualities about them. There's a lot of activity, so, you know, I don't know, a lot of activity. It's kind of questionable. So, but this was so fun, so awesome. So this is like what you dream about. Like, you're like, oh, we're gonna go hang out at the cemetery, and you're like, if I want to experience anything really spooky, like, this is what I would want to experience. So what do you think? Do you think that him pulling away was, you know, giving someone time to move away? Or was this just something that was done in post? Because that could also totally be possible as well. I mean, with the light shining on it and it just being so hot with the light, yeah, that's a big, huge possibility as well. Especially since he was so underwhelmed. And though everybody reacts differently to scary situations, like sometimes when I get into arguments with significant others or very close friends, I laugh because it is a nervous reaction. It is not because I think that, you know, that they're funny or this is funny or I'm not taking this situation seriously, but that is something that I do and I have to warn people about it. I felt like the acting didn't match like how actually terrifying this would be. Like, it was just really weird. So yeah, so this was so cool, but I don't know, I'm not convinced, but it was really, really fun. I found this video on Nick's Top 5 and it's a really great channel. He has a lot of awesome compilations for scary videos with ghosts and other types of things, cryptids and stuff like that. So he has a lot of great videos, and what I really appreciate about his channel is that he's never trying to like make you think that these videos are real. He's never trying to push you in one direction or the other. He's just like presenting it for you to kind of figure it out for yourself. So I like that a lot. But he has this one video, and it is very compelling. It has a very interesting backstory. It's very gothic. The guy who's been taking all of this footage and video of his house, his name is Don Paramo. He's Colombian, and he had just moved into this really nice, really spacious apartment, and it was within his budget, and he was already kind of suspicious of that. So he moved in. He was very excited. Him and his cat, Octavio, I think is the cat's name, which is so cute. So him and his cat are living there, and he's discovering some strange stuff. There's a lot of old photo albums there, you know. They look like they're probably from the 90s. There's kids' toys, there's clothing, there's all kinds of stuff that have been left over by the previous tenants. So things start to happen around the apartment. Noises, bad smells. At one point he came home to find maggots all over his bedroom, and then when he left and came back, they were gone. So he's just been documenting all of this stuff, putting it on Twitter, putting it on, you know, whatever outlets that he has. And one day he decided to do a live stream because people really wanted to see his apartment. They wanted to know more about it. He did the live stream, and in the live stream was something real creepy. Let's take a look. So right here he's showing us some pictures from the photo albums that he found. And he's walking down the hallway here, and there's a bedroom to, I don't know if you saw it. It's gonna rewind here. Do you see this figure in the bed? And the really creepy thing about this figure is it has no head. So, you know, this was really interesting because this was done live. So that's taking out any time for someone to do any type of special effects. But there was something that I noticed. And if we go back, I noticed that the bedspread here, you know, it looks like it's been disturbed, and it looks like that this object that's laying on it is causing there to be some displacement. I don't mean like digital displacement, but just actually like the blanket is sort of, you know, has moved on the bed. So I think that this is a dummy and that it is laying on the bed. If you watch the rest of the video, you know, he does come back around to, you know, because people on the stream were like, oh my God, there's this body in your bed. And he's like, no way, are you serious? That's so crazy. And so he comes back and of course the body is gone. So that's just enough time for someone to remove it, you know, fix the bedspread, and then, you know, just hide somewhere. It's so compelling though, and I love this story. Totally traditional. It's like person moves into new house starts doing weird stuff, bad smells, sounds. Oh, also he mentioned that his cat was acting weird. And then the maggots appearing and disappearing, and then the strange headless body in the bed. I mean, it's pretty cool, right? Like, I mean, it's just so fun. I love it. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, this is the thing, is like when he walks away from the room, there's so much time for someone to kind of just move this. And it really does look like a dummy to me with just no head. But when I first saw it, I won't lie, I was like, I was just like, oh my God, it is a black corpse. And the thing that's really cool about this is the dummy is all black. And like when you think about when corpses are all black like that, I mean, it's like, oh, I don't know, it just seems so like whatever situation that corpse is in is a pretty bad one, you know? Like, I don't know, like for some reason it just seems very visceral to me. So I don't know, check it out, tell me what you think, watch the whole thing, it's pretty cool. That's what I think about that one. I really would love this one to be real, just because I love it. It's so gothic, right? This footage was taken by Ghost of Carmel, Maine. Definitely check out their page on YouTube. They have tons and tons of video. He is constantly surveilling his house. He records a lot of EVPs and a lot of footage and stuff like that. But this footage I think is, I mean, he has a lot of really interesting footage, but this one I think is just kind of mind-blowing. Difficult to figure out how he did it. So let's take a look. So he's coming upstairs and he comes into his room. So we see there's something in the window, and then it jumps away. So he plays it in slow motion here, and it moves. Everything moves. The drape moves. Everything moves. So, wow, it could be a puppet, but moves in a very strange way that I don't think a puppet normally would. I actually really don't know. This was really shocking to me. I thought it was like really interesting. So let's kind of break this down a little bit. Let's go back here. So we see that it's in the window, and we can tell that there's some air coming from outside, or maybe the air conditioner there, it's hard to tell. You can see it move its leg up and down at some point, and then it's like it gets spooked like a cat. When I went back and watched other videos of Ghost of Carmel, Maine, this guy didn't really seem like, you know, he might be some kind of really talented animator, or that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a son or a daughter or nephew or whatever that could, you know, do this type of work for him, but he seems pretty much like invested in the fact that his house is haunted. And even though knowing if someone is genuine on the internet is pretty hard to know, I'd say that I don't think, at least I don't think that he is doing this himself. But yeah, I don't know. This one is really weird, and I really want it to be real. So I don't know, but this is really cool. I think they're really interesting. I would really be curious to know what you guys think about it. If it's real, if it's not, if you have an idea of how it could be done, how could we recreate it if we wanted to. I mean, I feel like if I wanted to recreate this, I don't know, sunny window with transparent curtains. I would have some type of material that would be kind of loosely stuck to the behind the curtain, so that looks sort of like it's like kind of, I don't know, holding on to something, kind of hanging in the window. And then I would have maybe some fishing line that once I pulled on it, if I pulled it and then the rust came with it, you know, maybe that would give the look of the arms and the legs all coming down and scurrying out. I don't know, maybe that, just throwing it out there. And he's looking out the window, which is the thing that I think I love the most about this character, is that he's looking out the window like a cat, you know, or an old lady, or an old man, or someone who's just like wishes they could go outside of this house, you know? So I sort of like that little bit of narrative there that I just made up for it. These were the 4 videos that I have watched in the last year that I thought were really weird, really compelling, really interesting, a lot of food for thought, a lot of fodder for writing, for creating stuff, I don't know. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Take a look at these other videos on their respective YouTube pages. Give a follow to those pages as well if you're into this type of stuff. And let me know what your thoughts are. Like, do you think that, you know, that these are real, that they're fake, that you have a better idea about how they could have been done, or whatever. Let me know what you think. This is like my type of favorite like bar conversation, which would then be followed up with like, hey, I just saw that cemetery is only like 5 miles away, let's go. You know, I like that sort of excitement. That's the kind of girl that I am. If there's a channel that you think I should be watching that's all about ghosts and the supernatural and stuff like that, send it over, as well as mysteries and serial killers. Those are like my favorite things to just like play on YouTube, especially when I'm depressed for some reason. I don't know what it is. There's something really nice about just like cuddling up on the couch with a pillow and then just like watching death all day. I don't know what that's about. So here is my ghost story, and I actually forgot about this. In October, I did a video where I shared a spooky story that had happened to me. It wasn't really ghost related, it was kind of more like just some strange things had been happening, and I totally forgot about this story. And what it was I was on tour 4 or 5 years ago with my band. Me and 2 of my bandmates were sharing a room. One was at the desk with his laptop, the other one was asleep in a bed, and I was lying on another bed. And you know, we were just hanging out. It was pretty late at night. I mean, I think it must have been like 2 or 3 in the morning. And it was pretty quiet in the room. There was no sounds on. And I was laying there, and then suddenly I heard a voice inside the room. And it whispered, "Where are you guys going?" I just sat up. It was a woman's voice, and my bandmate looked at me and I looked at him, and I said, "Did you hear that?" And he was like, "Fuck yeah, I heard that." He's so funny. And I was like, "What did they say?" And he told me, and I was like, "Oh my God." And nothing else happened. There was nobody in the hallway. The room was significantly large, and it was far away from the door. The Marriott wasn't like bustling with people. It was pretty empty. I mean, you've heard other people say, "No, I heard it in the room," right? And you know, as a skeptic, you might say, "Oh, I'm sure it was something outside," you know? No. I understand now what they mean when they say it was in the room. The voice was in the room. The voice, if I could describe it in a way that's not too hyperbolic, but like, it sounded like it materialized in the room, and it was so close to us. Like, if this was like where we were at, like the beds and all 3 of us, the voice was here, and then the hallway was like this, like it was pretty far, and then the door, and then the hallway outside, and it just, I can't explain it, but that is like a bona fide, like, I heard a voice, a disembodied voice. Oh yeah, that's what they call that, right? A disembodied voice spoke in the room, and that was freaky. Like, that was really, really freaky. Yeah, don't stay at a Marriott. Yeah, I totally forgot about that story. Holy shit. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a really great weekend and a week coming up. and I hope everything is going really, really well for you. I really mean that. If you would like to support me, please subscribe, like this video, and you can follow me at Harpies in the Trees at Instagram. I try to post really interesting, spooky stuff on my stories every day, whether that's art or photos or things I find in Berlin, movies, anything that's spooky and unusual. I like to share that. All right, I'll talk to you next time.